What's going on, guys? We're coming at you with another MLB The Show 19 roster update predictions video for the roster update here this Friday, June 28th of 2019. Here are my predictions for the week, going for 150 or more likes on this video. Subscribe if you guys are new, on the road to 29,000 subscribers. In the comment section, leave me who you think deserves to be upgraded or downgraded in this week's roster predictions. Feel free to leave why, anything like that. And we're going to start with the starting pitchers, go through the other pitchers and the position players, catcher, first base, all that good stuff for my predictions for this week. Again, just like other weeks, I'm not perfect. I definitely miss guys. I might have even gotten guys wrong, and these are by no means perfect or the only guys that I think are deserving. They're just ones that people suggested to me on Twitter, and those are the ones that I decided to focus on for my predictions here this week. To start off, we have the starting pitchers, starting with Mike Soroka of the Braves. He's a current 73 overall in the game, and I've been getting a +4 this week, up to a 77 overall. His hits per 9 this season is 6.5, home runs per 9 is 0.3, and I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that's leading the entire league for qualified starting pitchers for that home runs per 9, sitting at 0.3. His walks per 9, 2.2, and then his strikeouts per 9, 7.2, so definitely could be higher with that. So I would say definitely boost his hits per 9 attribute way higher in the game, along with the home runs per 9 one, especially if he is leading the entire league for qualified starting pitchers. I could be wrong again on that, though, but I feel like that is true. I'm not 100% sure, though. And then maybe some boost to his walks per 9, strikeouts per 9, stuff like that. But just overall, he's been really, really good this season, and I think he's definitely deserving of higher than a 73 overall in game. +4 could be a little bit risky or maybe over guessing, but I feel like it's deserved, honestly. Next up is our second and final starting pitcher, Lucas Giolito on the Chicago White Sox. I'm getting a +4 as well this week, just like Mike Soroka, and I'm sorry for any mispronunciations on anybody in this video or any others. I'm not great at pronouncing names. I'm getting a +4 up to a 77 overall. He's another guy who's just been amazing this season. 6.1 hits per 9, 0.8 home runs per 9, 3.1 walks per 9, kind of high there, but 11 strikeouts per 9, definitely good. And I think he could for sure just use a boost to all those attributes in the game, just like Soroka, and I really think both of them are deserving of a silver tier rather than bronze in MLB The Show 19, and I really wouldn't be surprised at all if it happened this week. Maybe not a +4 to both of them, but you know, at least a +2 I feel like is deserved and also likely. So I don't have any relief pitcher predictions for this week, so we're moving to my first and only closing pitcher roster update prediction. We have Kirby Yates of the San Diego Padres. I'm getting a +1 this week from an 83 to an 84 overall. He's only allowed 1 home run this season. I think it was actually pretty recently. Until that, he hadn't allowed any. So I definitely think he needs a boost to his home run per 9 attribute in the game, sitting at a 70, having only allowed 1 homer. I feel like it needs to go up in game. And then he's sitting at 14.7 for his strikeouts per 9 this season. It's already at 100 in game, but I feel like that could go up a little bit as well, maybe to like 102 or 103. And then 5.7 hits per 9, so 90. It could be a little low, maybe get that up to like 92, 93, 94. And with all those things, I feel like he honestly could go diamond. It really just depends on what they do, if they do it, how much they do it by, whatever. But I feel like he's 100% deserving of at least a +1. I feel like the home runs per 9 boost alone that I feel like he deserves would be enough to get him to an 84 overall. Next up is my first and only catcher prediction. I think for all the positions that I have covered for this week, for the rest of the video, I should say, I'm pretty sure I'm only doing 1 per position. I just didn't have as many replies to my tweet as I would have thought, or we had duplicates and stuff like that. So Twin Gaming YT, sometimes I ask on there, sometimes I ask here in a video for prediction, suggestions, stuff like that, and I'm just using the ones from Twitter, and we really didn't have that many today. But we have Yasmani Grandal of the Milwaukee Brewers, currently sitting at an 83, and I'm only getting a +1 this week, up to an 84, not quite to a diamond. And this season he's hitting 275 versus righties and 270 versus lefties. Sorry, 275 versus righties, 270 versus lefties. So I think his contact versus righties definitely could go up, and it needs to go up at least a little bit in the game. I don't think his contact versus lefties really would need to. I feel like it's probably good where it's at, but just he's hitting better versus righties, so his contact versus righties maybe shouldn't be that much lower than it is versus lefties in game. And then he has 12 home runs versus righties this season and 5 versus lefties. Now, the at-bat differential is there, but I definitely think he could use a small boost to maybe both of his powers, but like 1 or 2 versus righties, and then that contact versus righties. And I think that's enough to get him to an 84, that +1. I just don't see him going diamond this week. If it happens, I really wouldn't be surprised. But I really don't see it happening. I don't see them upgrading any of his attributes over there enough to get him a +2, but I feel like he could pretty easily get that +1. And again, I really wouldn't be surprised though if he did in fact go diamond. For the week, we have Pete Alonso of the New York Mets. I'm getting a +2 from a 78 to an 80 overall, going gold here in this week's roster update. And if you guys could, in the comment section, let me know, is he a good fielder? I haven't looked into it. I probably should have, but is his fielding good enough in real life to warrant an upgrade to those fielding stats? Because that will be important to a point I'm about to make. So this season, he has 17 homers versus righties, 10 versus lefties. I think just keep increasing his power. I really do. Over 90 for both of them is what I think he deserves. And then he's hitting 268 versus righties, but 297 versus lefties. So I think a small boost to his contact versus righties, and definitely get that contact into maybe the high 70s versus lefties, but at least like a 3 or 4 boost to that contact versus lefties. And I just think his hitting stats across the board are enough for those attributes to go up and get him a 1 or 2 overall here in MLB The Show 19. And I really think he has a chance to go diamond this season. Okay, I think he is easily deserving of gold at this point. I really do. But I think he has a chance to go diamond if he continues to hit how he's hitting with the home runs and the power, gets his average up a little bit, especially versus righties though, and if his fielding's good, because he's sitting at common fielding, and that will be a big part of whether or not he could actually end up going diamond. I just don't know how good of a fielder he is in real life. Next up's our first and only second baseman prediction, also a 78 overall from the New York Mets. We have Jeff McNeil. I've been getting a +1 this week, not quite to gold, up to a 79 overall. So his contact versus righties is already 98 in the game, but this season he's hitting 373 versus lefties, okay? Lefties, and then 342 overall. It's like 330 something versus righties. So I think that his contact versus lefties definitely needs to go up, maybe be matched with the versus righties or just a few points lower, but I definitely think it needs to go up a little bit. And then his power versus righties is lower than it is versus lefties, granted only by 3, but he has 5 homers this season versus righties and none versus lefties. Power isn't only on home runs. I think it has to do with maybe ISO and slugging and doubles and stuff like that. But I feel like with the home runs versus righties, 5 of them, yet none versus lefties, I think maybe his power versus righties should be at least higher than it is versus lefties. So I feel like that right there is enough to get him a +1. I just don't think you could boost his power enough or his contact enough to get him a +2 up to a gold. Next up is Trevor Story, and he's actually my first and only shortstop prediction, and then also diamond prediction for the week. We have Trevor Story of the Rockies. I'm getting a +1 from an 84 to an 85, going diamond this week. So he's hitting 333 versus lefties this season and 277 versus righties, with 14 of his 17 homers coming versus righties. So I think a 277 average versus righties could definitely get him into maybe the 70s for his contact versus righties. I think 67 might be just a little bit low, and with the 373 average versus lefties, I feel like that could go up even higher, maybe to like 95 or 96. And having 14 of his 17 homers versus righties, granted there's the at-bat differential, you know, so it's maybe like home runs per at bat. I haven't looked at that. Maybe I should have, but I think his power versus righties could definitely go up at least a little bit. You know, I'm looking at like 84 or 85 for that. And so boosting the contact versus righties, boosting the power versus righties, and then his fielding. He's a silver defender, 70 fielding attribute, and I don't know how it is compared to other shortstops in game with their diamond fielding, gold fielding, whatever, but if I'm not mistaken, if I looked at the numbers correctly, Trevor Story's fielding stats this season are the best he's ever had in his career. He's doing, I don't want to say way better fielding, but he's doing better fielding than he has in previous years. So I think maybe it's time to boost some of his fielding attributes a bit. And even just with those hitting ones, the contact and power versus righties, maybe contact versus lefties a little bit more, I feel like that's enough to get him a +1 up to an 85. But I feel like his fielding is definitely deserving of at least a little bit of a boost, and that would easily get him there. So I would not be surprised at all if he did go diamond. I think he got upgraded in the last update, so that would make me think maybe he won't go diamond this week. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't, just because of him, I'm pretty sure, getting upgraded on June 14th. I could be wrong in that, but I'm pretty sure that happened. And I'm giving him a +1 this week, though, breaking into diamond tier, getting to 85. And last but not least, for my roster predictions for the week, I'm sorry they were so slim. Like, I feel like I really didn't have that many players, but again, I went pretty much only off of Twitter suggestions. I didn't necessarily use everyone. I just use everyone that I thought was deserving of an upgrade from Twitter. Sometimes I ask on there, sometimes I ask on YouTube. We have Alex Verdugo of the Dodgers. I'm getting a +3 this week from a 72 to a 75 overall. He's hitting 343 versus lefties this season, and then 285 versus righties with 6 of his 7 home runs versus righties. So I definitely think his contact versus lefties needs to go up. 343 versus lefties does not equal 60 contact in game. 285 versus righties maybe could go up versus righties for his contact a little bit, like 75, 76 or something like that. And then 6 of his 7 homers being versus righties. I think you could definitely boost his power to at least 50 in a game versus righties. So I feel like he could easily get a +2 this week, and I really think he's deserving though, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if it was a +3 because he is a lower overall. It's a little bit easier for them to get upgraded to a high overall based on attribute boost and everything, sitting at that lower one like 72. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was only a +2, but I feel like it could easily be a +3 and get him up to that 75 overall. That's gonna wrap up my roster predictions for Friday, June 28th. And again, I just want to reiterate, these aren't perfect. I definitely left out guys. I got these all from Twitter, so definitely leave guys in the comments for others and just for me, maybe in case you want me to see them and stuff, and pay attention to those guys on guys you think deserve upgrades this week, and maybe feel free to leave why they deserve it. And I'm just gonna kind of mention again what I did during the predictions. So for guys that I had this week, like Trevor Story or Yasmani Grandal, where they got an upgrade in the last roster update, you guys can see that right here actually. I'm pretty sure SDS just doesn't like to do the same person 2 times in a row. It's a little bit different because they're doing it every other week and everything, but I really want to be surprised if Trevor Story or Yasmani Grandal didn't get touched this roster update just because they did in the last one. So just be wary of that in case you're thinking about investing or anything. Feel free to leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you guys are new. Comment anything down below. Follow on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, second channel. All that is down in the description. I enjoy doing these predictions. I hope you guys enjoy them. You seem to. They were one of my most popular kind of series or types of videos that I used to do back in the day, and this year it's been pretty similar to that. So hopefully you guys still enjoy them, and hopefully these are accurate. I don't know how they've been doing recently. I know my first few were pretty accurate predictions, and I just don't know how they've been doing recently. I'll see you guys next time though. Thank you as always for watching. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace out.